I'm Barry Funkhauser, and this is the Barry Funkhauser Show. Well, today is such a special Friday, and why? Well, it's because we're throwing out the news today, and we have a special guest on the program, and I butchered his last name yesterday on the show. Mookie is here to rap with us about, hey, who knows what? Please welcome Marc Kaczor's on the program.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks, guys. It's Kaczor, actually.
Kaczor.
You cannot get it right. You cannot get it right.
I thought you
It's
were
fine. It's okay. It happens all the time. Happens every day. So you're throwing out the news because you don't think I'm a well-informed individual? You don't think I keep up on topical things?
No, just the opposite. You're too well informed for us, and I am scared that you're going to make me look bad. So we're just going to throw out the news and just talk about you instead.
Okay, cool. I could talk about me all day. People love talking about themselves. Hey, Joe, it was great to meet you at Music Head Gallery in Hollywood the other day.
Oh, man, Music Head Gallery. Oh, if you guys have not been there, that place is amazing.
It's amazing.
Oh man, I was looking at this. Okay, so we went for the SoCal Sound winter holiday festival, I guess, or just winter meeting. We saw a great artist perform, but I was looking at this picture and well, actually, Barry's girl was looking at this picture on this wall, and I'm like, oh wow, that's an incredible picture. Who is that? And she's like, that's Bob Dylan at Woodstock. I have never seen a picture of Bob Dylan where he looked so young. I had no idea it was even him. And it looked like the picture was taken yesterday.
It's so good.
Oh, fantastic display of all rock photography and like album covers and stuff. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, so Music Head Gallery, I've been telling people it's the best collection of rock and roll photography I have ever seen, and it's in Hollywood on Sunset, like near Guitar Center. One piece that caught my eye, which was right over the performer that night, Ray Zaragoza, is the Stevie Wonder picture where he's tickling the ivories right there. It's just an amazing piece.
Yeah, it's just such good stuff there.
Did you have any favorites, Barry?
I'll tell you one thing, man. It's just a favorite of mine to be able to go down to the Sunset Strip, because I don't know. Now, but Mookie, you're from Southern California. I think you're from Northridge.
Yeah.
But you covered Southern California, and you're just about as old as I. And I think the Sunset Strip has gone through quite a metamorphosis since we were kids. And nowadays, it's kind of rare to get the opportunity to go down there and actually have a good time. So, and this thing is like kind of in an odd place that I wouldn't, come to find a gallery. So I enjoyed the whole thing altogether, man.
Yeah. Dude, the Sunset Strip has changed so much. I love hearing stories of the heyday. And for me, the heyday is like 80s hair metal,
Oh, yeah.
Like the Whiskey and the Roxy and all of those clubs.
Did you ever...
but now you drive down the street and you see billboards of like Kardashians and things, and it's so different.
Did you ever find yourself at the Rainbow Bar and Grill ever?
Rainbow Room.
A couple of times, yeah. A couple of times.
Oh, boy.
And then the history there, it's unbelievable. But I would have loved to have gotten back like into the Wayback Time Machine, the old DeLorean, back to the 80s and spandex and big hair and just rock and roll music,
See, I got to LA the first day of 1999. And so I was able to get in the end of the third wave of ska and like the West Coast punk scene. So the thing from the Sunset Strip that I actually missed the most is the House of Blues. Like I loved going to shows at the House of Blues on Sunset, and I would go basically every Christmas. Social Distortion would do a week there. And I went to a Social Distortion show every single Christmas for like 5 years straight. And it was spectacular. Oh, and I love Social D because they're from Fullerton, my hometown.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're from SoCal, you've probably seen Social D at least a handful of times. It's just one of those things, right?
That and like a Bad Religion there, or just like some of the bars that were out there, there was some like we would just go do karaoke and then like roll right next door to the Whiskey and go see, some awesome punk band. And it was great. Like Open Hand. Like there was this band, small band, they were gonna get signed to Epitaph, early 2000s, called Open Hand. And they were, oh man, they were great. They were like at the drive-in meets Against Us, and man, I love that band. Anyway, yeah, there was like a little bar next door. We would do karaoke until 10, go over, see the show, and then hop in the car, drive down to Toy Thai, which is right across the street from Music Head, get some Thai food. Oh man, rock and roll Thai food. It was just good times. Good times.
You guys
early
went to that
2000s.
restaurant after the event on Sunday, and I think
Yes,
it
we
was
did.
Barry's first time out there. Was it everything you imagined?
It was everything I remembered, that's for sure. I don't know about Barry and Eve though.
You just reminded me of what I saw there. And
What was that? Yeah,
no,
go.
okay, so like of all ages, my friends, of all ages, okay, there was a band about to play, and I can't tell if they were going after the Cure kind of vibes because everybody was pale, you know. The uh, the guy who was probably playing guitar or piano or something, maybe he was just sitting back there. He looked like your average Sunset Strip musician. The guy that's at one of those booths right now at the Rainbow. He was there, the chiseled face. I don't know if you saw Cobra Kai, but the bad guy in it. It looked like that guy.
Yeah.
Wait, which bad guy? The older bad guy or Zuko?
The one I'm talking about. You know the one.
The older bad guy. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And food was great and everything. And I was like, okay, well, this place hasn't changed in probably since 1980 something.
Well, it looked exactly the same, and it was fantastic, and I loved every second of it because I hadn't been in like 15 years.
And there was a band playing at the restaurant. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the other thing that there used to be a ton of these types of places. Now there are only two left.
I'm not sure if the band was playing, but they were starting to try.
They were playing. They were gonna play. Yes, they were gonna play.
They could have been in a perpetual setup. Maybe they never did play. They're just sitting there hanging out.
No, they played.
Maybe it's like performance art where they just set up the stage type of thing.
It could have been, man. All the right players were there. It could have been. I could have paid admission for this.
Right.
Oh no, it's like no, come on. It's like they always have bands there. It's just like local guys who just want to play and stuff. But it's great because you could just go get Thai food and like watch some band play. And usually it's like, a couple original songs, but then mostly covers.
Do they ask you how
80s rock songs.
spicy? Do they ask you how spicy you want your dish on a scale of 1 through 5? Don't they do that at every Thai restaurant?
They do.
They do.
I get a 3.
You get a 3. Fair enough.
I like a little spice, but I can't. If it's overwhelming, it just doesn't. It's not a great taste. I don't know.
Yeah. I
it just
agree.
destroys the dish for me. But there's another place that actually lets you eat food and watch bands. Have you ever been to Genghis Khan?
Yes, the room
Yeah.
though is so small, but it's got so much character.
It totally does. There used to be literally dozens of places like that all across like Hollywood and the Strip and all up and down, just like a little food place. And then in the corner, there's a stage and there would be a musical act. It would either, and that's all gone now because the Strip used to be this great walkable area where you would just like park your car at 8 p.m. and walk up and down the Strip, go see a couple shows, hit a couple bars, get some good food. Either you leave your car there and you go pick it up the next day, at a taxi, or if you only had a drink or two, you just walk back down, you drive home.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. It's like I think that the youths are a little different. They don't do the same things that us Gen Xers used to do when it came to concerts.
Is it that, or did we just age out? I constantly ask myself that when I'm down there. It's like, am I just too old to have fun anymore, or is this not fun for anyone?
I think maybe internet culture has something to do with that, and also the pandemic, maybe because everyone just wants to stay at home and not interact or go out and do things. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. But I also think that it's it's the culture. It's the differences between the generations. And I think the internet culture has a little bit to do with it. People are finding entertainment in different ways.
I don't know, man. Sagebrush Cantina is always popping off when I'm out there, man.
Is it?
You got a girl
Yeah.
on that mechanical bull. And you got $18 drinks. It's a whale of a time.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Like,
That
I
sounds
went there
great.
once and I said, "Why are there so many people here?" And I realized, oh, they're the ones that don't care. We don't care where we're going. We're gonna have a good time. Yeehaw! Bang, bang. Yosemite's
man.
girlfriend are in there. But
That's a pretty affluent area of Southern California, isn't that? In Calabasas, the sagebrush.
Yep.
one of
Yeah.
my
Yep. Right there.
what's the one on the strip that I'm thinking of? Then it's the one. There's one there, and there's also one at Universal City Walk. It's like,
with the mechanical bull.
yeah, what's that thing? Stupid thing called? Try to get a drink there.
Oh man, I can't remember. It's been so long since I've actually.
Can't remember.
Gosh, what is that place
Up
called?
at City Walk?
There's one on City Walk and there's one on Sunset Boulevard. It has a mechanical bull on it. We used to go there. It was
And it's
terrible.
brushy ish.
Sagebrushy.
I'm trying to look it up here on
You know what
the
I'm talking
interwebs.
I haven't been there in forever. I remember eating at Gladstone's once. That's probably not there. I remember going to the Universal Amphitheater. It became the
Saddle
Gibson
Ranch.
Amphitheater.
Saddle Ranch.
It's Saddle Ranch, everybody.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
where they let 16-year-olds drink.
Man, I remember Universal when it was just Universal Amphitheater. It was honestly like that was the first place I saw my first big show.
Oh,
Was
really?
Universal Amphitheater. Yeah, I saw Hunters and Collectors. Hunters and Midnight Oil. 1996.
Oh, that's cool, man. I actually saw my first concert ever there. My parents took me to some sort of doo-wop revival,
Oh, cool. Man.
which I really wasn't into at that time, and I hardly remember it. But man, we've seen a couple of random shows over there. My dad took me to see George Carlin once.
Wow.
And
No.
yeah,
Oh
and,
man, you are so lucky.
Year.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like
What
one of-
era? What year?
I was just I was a kid, man, maybe barely a teenager,
had to be in the
but
Bill and Ted era, though.
the guy certainly brilliant. I don't recall, but my dad also dragged me to a Tim Allen stand up at the height of the Home Improvement show,
Okay, yeah.
with the
And-
grunting
yeah.
and ow.
Dad was like a cool dad taking you out to some dark comedy shows.
That's no, yeah, no kidding, man.
And my
I
dad's
should've-
all like, I want to take you to Peter, Paul, and Mary and some folk singing over here.
Setting the bar high.
That's rock and roll right there. My dad's turning 70 and my sister's trying to put together some sort of surprise get together. Maybe we might, rent a room at a restaurant, but we're gonna roast him and like a
that's
friar's
awesome.
roast, and
Nice.
man, I can't wait for that.
That sounds like
It's
fun.
Yeah.
Well, Mookie, you are born and raised in Southern California, right? Did you ever move away? Have you been here the entire time?
I grew up in the Valley, born in Reseda, raised in Northridge, and then shortly after high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Took some classes in community college, Moore Park College, and was really bad. I was not a good student, but I followed all my friends down to San Diego. They all got into San Diego State, and I moved down and got an apartment with some friends and enrolled in Grossmont College, community college in East County, San Diego. Failed in business classes, failed in just about everything, except for the radio program, So I got in and
Have anybody behind you before you got into radio, or does that come natural to you? How did you decide to get into that?
well, I wasn't very good at anything academic, that's for sure. And I would just drive around and listen to sports talk, really. And I thought to myself one day, how cool would it be if you just were able to talk about sports all day on the radio, So my attitude was, you only live once. why not try to pursue that? So, I enrolled in some classes, mass media classes, and some radio courses and stuff. And we took a tour of the Clear Channel building in San Diego. And at the time, it was before they had these FCC laws. They had 11 radio stations in one building, like damn near close to a monopoly in the San Diego market,
I love it.
So you look down the hall and it's like hot AC format and classic rock and alternative, and then, you name it. And then, a country station. And then in the middle were the AMs, and it was a sports talk and a news talk. And at the time they actually had the progressive talk. You remember Air America?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
From there, I think.
Yeah, that was actually the first time I discovered Mark Maron, who had a brilliant radio show on this like political station or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to pursue sports, and I got in, and they hired me as a traffic reporter, and I was pretty good, man. I was like early 20s, but I was like doing, traffic reports, right in the middle of like the Roger Hedgecock show, like the big conservative,
Roger Hitchcock.
Yeah, right. Big conservative voice in San Diego, and it's me, this stoner who's like 22 years old, and I'm doing traffic reports talking about the 805 and the 163.
Back to you.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah. And then somebody took the week off, and I did traffic reports every afternoon on 91X for a week. And the program director at the time, I think it was Jim Richards, said, "Who's this kid? We want him on every day because he just sounds like, alternative music guy or whatever."
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got in the door, started doing 91X stuff, and then I quickly realized that, girls or females, they don't listen to sports. So I pursued music, man,
Yeah, this is great.
And then, shortly after that, well, not shortly, many, many months, a friend of mine got a DUI in a station vehicle. So they went ahead and, let him go.
Well, yeah.
And I took over his weekend overnight show. So my first shift was, 2004, October or something. And I was just doing an overnight Sunday night, Monday morning. And that's when I first started doing DJ stuff.
So it's interesting that you wanted to start in sports talk, because I actually started on Jim Rome's home station in Santa Barbara, KTMS.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, like way back in the day. And
excellent call, Rackham. Good.
He was a
Thanks
lot
for the vine, Joe.
Yeah, right. He was a lot nicer and a lot less douchey than he got to be, because, fame corrupts people. But it was an interesting start. He gave me some advice early on in my career when it came to sports talk, and instantly made me go to music. So,
like, what was it? What was the advice?
Tell us. That basically that you have to put your convictions in a folder, in a locked drawer, in a safe, secure deposit box at a bank, and basically just eat it if you want to be successful in sports talk radio. And I was like, I'm not really like that. I really don't want to do that. I have some things that are hard red lines for me that I don't want to cross.
Joe, you got to sell. Joe, the only way to get sports talk, sell out. You got to sell out.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to sell out. I was way too punk rock for that. I couldn't sell it. So,
right.
I just kind of dove more into punk and rock music and doing like promotions and marketing stuff instead of like the sports talk stuff.
Yeah.
Damn, you guys are cool. The only sports talk I ever did, man, was from 11:58 a.m. to 12:01 p.m. every day of the week.
What, right? Doing like the football scores and stuff?
No, just got to push a button at the end of the Jim Rome show. Just got to push that button at 11:58, 59, beep, and then walk out the door. So, nope. I like sports talk, though. I never really got behind it for a long time. And nowadays, it's only when, I like when things, it sounds a little bit morbid, I guess not anymore, but you remember when that football player guy recently got slammed, passed out on
Oh,
the.
that just happened like 2 weeks ago. Damer Hamlin.
Hey, man, news happens fast, but yeah.
Yeah, that's actually still ongoing. So
And it's like,
he's home and he's safe and he's good, but he's not going to play the rest of the season.
well, that's good that he's home, but
Yeah, it's good that he didn't die. Yes, I
Well,
will
that
agree.
was scary.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I was watching that show that game live when it happened, and just the replays of it were just.
Well, I always perk up
No,
when
no more.
when sports becomes news. Like when anything live happens, I'm like, oh, it's on. Like it sobers me up, because my very first time on the air was 9/11. It was my first day on the air, filling in for
What?
at a talk.
What?
I was
That's no.
no, I was doing it. I was screening calls for Dave and Bob. I was 20 years old, and Dave and Bob were on the air for 30 years together
What city?
in Port Hueneme, Ventura, KVTA. And a couple of years before that, there was a big old incident. It may have been very recently from that, maybe 2000, where a plane crashed right off of Port Hueneme, and it became national news there. So that was when I was like screening calls and I saw news happen. That was the first time I saw news happen. And then a couple of weeks before 9/11,
Wow.
Bob goes on vacation. Okay, I'm going on vacation, And the Dave goes, Bob, every time you go on vacation, disaster strikes. Last time, remember the Northridge Earth, like he's always on vacation when disaster strikes. So it was a joke. So then they put me on to fill in to just read the news from 6 to 10 a.m. on that day. And
What?
everything happened at 5:45.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Your first day on the air as a news guy, and the biggest news story of our generation was happening.
it was preempted. So like you, Mookie, this was a station that had 6 radio stations in the building. And they had all just started their morning show, cowbells in the morning, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Get up and at 'em. So I was the only one in the building that wasn't attached to a microphone at the time. So it was my job to run around and tell everyone to stop broadcasting, pointing at the television, which is already playing CNN on all of them. So that was my introduction into broadcasting. So anytime something like, that DeMar guy, anytime like something happens that becomes breaking news, I'm all there, because my upbringing.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy. My first time on air was so uneventful. Nothing like this. It was just like some random overnight from a Friday to a Saturday. And I only got it because I had literally asked Damian Young 5 times a day for an entire year. Hey, can I go on air tonight? Hey, can I go on air tonight? Hey, can I go on air tonight? That he finally just said, fine, go on air. And then he called me and yelled at me for doing something wrong. But that's the only thing it wasn't very eventful. Not 9/11, that's for sure. Wow. Wow.
Such a good story, Barry.
Yeah, it got me here today. So, and then let me tell you why, Mookie, you've become one of my best friends. I'll tell you when the moment happened. We were working together down in Laguna Beach, and we had some fun time on the air together in San Diego. We were both doing weekends in San Diego, and at this point, Mookie was very unshaven. He had very long hair. I would say he's very Christ-like.
Now, somebody referred to me, I believe, as not to my face, though. I found this out later, but people were talking behind my back, calling me Bong Rip Jesus.
Oh, that's great.
I paint
the Carlsbad Christ.
I hate those people.
He's rolling in with hair down to his nipples and sandals on, wearing beach attire. Okay, so it's like the vibe immediately cools.
Looking like a homeless samurai.
That's awesome.
And he's like, one day he goes, hey man, can you cover for me for like a couple of weeks? I said, sure, man. Where are you going? You going on vacation? because you both love vacations. And he
Oh,
goes,
yes, we do.
he's like, yeah, man, I'm going to Jerusalem.
I'm going to Israel.
I'm going to
Yeah.
Israel.
And I'm like, and it so many jokes in my head went by so quick.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that's so fun.
It's perfect.
Yes.
I'm just glad that you're back and it wasn't Aaliyah, that you weren't just like moving back to Israel.
No, my sister actually was doing some sort of work out there. She was teaching kids English, and I had never done the birthright trip.
Right.
So, I was already past the age to go for free. But we put this trip together and I was just so happy to be there. And Israel is like the best country ever. Tel Aviv nightlife just is popping every night. It's crazy. And, not to mention all the historical things that you could see. And it's a beautiful country. Like, down south, it's all desert, and up north, it's all green and lush. And, you're able to see these things that you've heard about all your life. And to actually be there, it was just a crazy feeling. I got all emotional.
As
It was
well,
like a whirlwind 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It was like a 10-day trip or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a long time. And my sister had already been there a couple of times, and we rented a car and we drove around and did all sorts of stuff. And it was just great, man. It was great.
Oh, Joe wants me to go to Amsterdam with him.
Oh, cool.
I love Amsterdam. I think Amsterdam's one of the nicest cities that I have ever visited in my life. So yeah, and I've been to Tel Aviv airport, but that's about it.
Oh, really? Why? Where were you going to?
Okay, so 2016, one of our friends, Felix, who is from Germany, was getting married to our friend Brittany from California in Germany. So we are all stoked. It was like my first trip ever to Europe. I was really, really excited. We were going to spend 2 weeks traveling around Germany, and then we went to Amsterdam and Paris and everything. Well, we were supposed to fly direct from Los Angeles to Frankfurt, get a car, drive to Kassel, about an hour away.
Uh-huh.
And so what happened is we get to the airport and they're like, all right, so I got you going to Germany, routing through Tel Aviv. And I was like, whoa. No, that's not our flight. Like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, so there's a major storm and all of the other flights have been canceled. So we have to redirect you on a flight on El Al Airlines,
Right.
through Tel Aviv into Frankfurt, and that's gonna it's gonna be a 6-hour layover and blah, blah. So I was just like, whoa, first they wanted to route us through Istanbul. And I said no to that because Istanbul had just been bombed like 3 days earlier. The actual airport had been bombed 3 days earlier. And I was like,
oh
no,
my goodness.
absolutely no way I'm going to Istanbul right now. No.
Yeah.
No, they're like, okay, well, we can get you through Tel Aviv. So we go on, we get there. It was a nightmare. You know how it is with like any kind of flights canceled. Well, it's worse when it's an international flight because you just really have no options. And we needed to get to this wedding. And like we really wanted to see our friends get married. So they route us through. The people at LL were great. They understood like the issues. They were really, really nice. But I was absolutely floored by their security. It's like you got regular airport security, and then it's like 3 levels above that is what LL Airlines does.
No, it's true. It is the most secure and the most safe. And you know those Israelis, they don't mess around.
Oh, they opened up our bags and they bomb stripped literally everything in our suitcases.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Yeah.
So we went through. We were the first one off the plane because our connecting flight actually waited for us at Tel Aviv airport for us to walk across the entire airport and get on a plane to Germany.
Wow.
So I spent an entire 15 minutes in Tel Aviv. Flying in and flying out, it looked like a gorgeous country. But
no, it's gorgeous. You didn't even get a chance to have any falafel or anything. That's
nothing,
too bad.
Man.
That's too
nothing
bad.
at all. So I do want to go. I would love to go to I'm no longer religious, but I just want to go for the historical aspect of it. There's
Sure.
so much there that I want to see. But I have a question. Did you feel at all in danger when you were there?
No, not at all. It's a bit of a culture shock, though. Like you'll be riding the bus and you'll see like this 18-year-old soldier with like a machine gun, just, tinkering on their iPhone. Because that's a thing over there. Once you become 18, you have to go into the military, So that's something that you're not prepared for, that you don't see in Southern California every day, soldiers on the bus, or anything.
But not just there, in Europe too. In Europe, yeah, we were surprised about that. We saw that in Germany, we saw that in Amsterdam, we saw that in France. It's just not something that you see here. But when we got off the train from Amsterdam to Paris, there were literally hundreds of soldiers just walking around the train depot.
Right, amazing, and a lot of them are just these like young kids, these teenagers, really 18, 19. That was amazing. But yeah, Israel has the most amazing Mediterranean beaches. Reminds me of San Diego, and my sister took me to this one nightclub, which was so they take me into this like a hot dog shop, like the storefront, which was not kosher, by the way, which doesn't matter. And then, so we walk to the back of this hot dog restaurant, and she opens up the door, and it's like a speakeasy, and you walk into this like nightclub, which is just popping off. And I'm like, this is amazing. And it's one of those cities where it's like, shit doesn't really start till like 2 a.m. type of thing,
Right. You went to the other side of the world to go clubbing. I get it.
To go clubbing, yeah, and the food's great, and the people are great, and the weather's generally phenomenal. Yeah, I felt pretty good. I felt pretty safe. I would recommend that trip to anybody.
So, Barry, what did you do in the 2 weeks where he was enjoying himself on the other side of the world and you were doing radio?
Oh, man,
remember?
I was on vacation in Laguna Beach, man. I mean, look, Mookie has it made, man. He's sitting there in the best part of the world doing kind of the most fun job in the world. Got a good time going on, doing vacations, all that stuff. So anytime I get to fill in, I'm super duper excited. No, I mean, Laguna Beach has like a 270-degree view of the ocean, which is mostly impossible, but it's pretty much that. And
mostly impossible.
It has you cut out there for a second. Laguna Beach has a what?
A 270-degree view of the ocean, and probably something like that. But it's just vacation land everywhere there. It's a beautiful place.
I tell people like you'd think you'd have to walk through turnstiles or something to get into Laguna Beach, because it's like an amusement park. It's like so pristine, and it's amazing.
I love it there. We try to go there once a year just to go to the Sawdust Festival and to hit Las Brisas.
Nice.
Man, Las Brisas. Oh, okay. Las Brisas is a very, very nice Mexican restaurant. It's fantastic for brunch. It's on a cliff overlooking the beach in Laguna, and it is spectacular. One, the food's really good. The service is amazing. The view is, you can't pay enough for this view. This is the view that Barry's talking about with this like 270-degree view. Yeah, it's spectacular. Right. And then the Sawdust Festival. I want to take Barry. Barry's never been. I want to go show him some good art.
You tell me later.
That's the art place. That's the art place.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know what they call the top of the hill there in Laguna Beach? The affluent people who live up on that hill, they call it the top of the world.
Yep. Right above Alta Laguna Park.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
I'm sorry. I grew up in Orange County. I used to go hiking up there. So good times, man. Good times.
All right. Well, Mookie, thank you so much for being on the Barry Funkhauser Show tonight. Can we end the program with a classic bit?
A classic bit? Like who's on first?
I was thinking more like, it's not too late to talk about New Year's resolutions. And, we all have resolutions. Me, I'm trying to lose a couple of pounds or 3. And Joe, I think he's trying to run some more. Mookie, do you have any New Year's resolutions in there?
Oh God. I'm supposed to write the 23 for 23, a list of 23 things to do in 2023. And my wife is holding me to that, so it's a lot of, household chores and stuff like that. So my wife doesn't have to do all of it around here. I did pretty good last year, though.
Clean the bathroom.
What? Yeah. Clean the bathroom. Do all of that stuff. I did pretty good though last year. I lost a lot of weight, and I really started not in January of 2022, but February I started, and it's almost been a year, and I lost about 30 pounds because after we had my daughter, and then the pandemic happened, which was just a killer. I stopped exercising and I just ate whatever, and it was bad, guys. It was really bad. But I know what works for me, and I just stuck to it. And, now I'm at the point where if I don't get on the exercise bike, then I just get grouchy, but whatever I did worked. So I feel pretty good about that. But moving forward for this year, it just all has to do with being a dad and, being a good family man. And we have a happy little home over here. We're all generally happy.
I love that. Mookie. Well, we'll get back to the podcast. I hope you come back on. You can hear us on Indie Beginnings every weekday or weekend. I mean, it's a brand new show. Joe, we told you about Indie Beginnings, right?
Well, you just mentioned it a couple of times. Give me what is Indie Beginnings?
It's
Mookie?
Funk's idea. It was totally Funk's idea. It's a good idea.
Yes.
What's the idea? Well, tell me what the idea is.
It's a show that hopefully you can hear on every radio station around the country. It's 1 hour, one artist, spotlighting the pioneers of indie rock. And this weekend, I believe we're going to have Modest Mouse as a featured artist. And next week, it's Sonic Youth. And then the week after that, it's Bon Iver. So we're educating the kids, probably educating
That's
the
really
older
cool.
people about it.
Well, that's really cool. I look forward to listening to Indie Beginnings.
Well, you have to wake up pretty early on a Sunday, but you
That's
can
right.
set an alarm or something.
Hey, I'm almost 50 now. Early is just normal now. I can't sleep past 6 a.m., so
Sure.
It's fine.
Sure.
We're all up drinking coffee when the sun rises anyway. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So now I'll just wake up and listen to Indie Beginnings instead.
Yes, please do that. And thanks for being on, Mookie.
My pleasure. You guys are amazing. Please have me on soon, and we could talk about other stuff.
Marc
Sounds great. Thanks, man.
Kaczor.
Kazor. Close enough.
Just call him Mookie.
Okay. This is the Barry Funkhauser Show.